Hey, welcome to a YoPrint demo. So in this video, we're going to give you a high-level overview of everything that YoPrint has to offer. So we're going to start by creating a quote, sending it to your customer for approval, take payments online, and then we're going to convert it to a sales order, see how the production side of things works out, and then we're going to create a purchase order, see how we can create a purchase order, track purchasing and receiving, and then I'm going to touch base on inventory, reports, and the whole thing. So we're going to start by going on how to create a quote first. To create a quote, you're going to go to quote, plus quote. So this starts a new quote in YoPrint. When you create a new quote, it will automatically fill in the default information for you based on your settings. The next thing you want to do is basically add a customer. So to create a new customer, you're going to click here, you're going to click add a customer, and then you're going to fill out the information. And as soon as you're done, we're going to automatically select the customer for you. If you've worked with this customer before, you can always search for the customer and then select the customer. Once selected, we'll once again fill in the default information specific to the customer. And once that's done, you'd want to create a job. Now, in YoPrint, a job is basically any number of decoration done on a single garment or a single promotional product. So what do we mean by that? So let's say if I walk into your store and I say, hey, I need a t-shirt. I need to say YoPrint on the front, YoPrint on the back, and have my name embroidered on the sleeve. That's going to be one job. Let's say I would like to have a bunch of caps with YoPrint logo on it. That's another job. Now, if I say I would like to, have some mugs with YoPrint printed on it, that's another job. But the idea here is simple. You can break an order down into multiple jobs, schedule them separately, but they're still part of the same invoice for your customer. So we're going to go ahead and create one job for this order. I'm going to go ahead and say plus job. And I'm going to give this job a name. So in this case, since we're doing YoPrint logo, I'm going to go ahead and call it just that, YoPrint logo. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and add a service. So services are basically your pricing matrix. So for example, this is going to be a screen printing order. So I'm going to select screen printing, one color and front. So if you look at the matrix, this is the matrix that I've prepared. So of course, your matrix will look completely different. And it's very simple. The column name can be whatever you want it to be. The row is the quantity break and price at that quantity break. So what do I mean by that? It's simple. For one color print, if you order less than 10, it's going to be $1 per t-shirt. But if you order more less than 20, it's going to be 90 cents per t-shirt. And you can create as many pricing matrices as you want in our system. So I'm going to go ahead and add screen printing one color front, screen printing one color back, and as mentioned before, we're going to add embroidery. Now, embroidery, the matrix looks different. So I've went by stitch counts. And again, the quantity break doesn't have to match between matrix. The software is smart enough to do the calculation for you. So I'm going to go ahead and embroidery 3000 count and left sleeve. Right. So the next thing is you want to do is basically create a task. Tasks are a powerful addition to the software, which allows you to create a task and assign it to someone and track it that way. Now, for a smaller team, this might feel like too many administrative steps. So for smaller teams, we recommend skipping this. For larger team, you might want to use it like this. So for example, I'm going to add a task. We're going to add purchasing and receiving. So we're going to start with that. And then we're going to add screen printing, since there's screen printing, embroidery, and packing. Each task has its own due dates. Those can be customized on it per task level. So for example, I could say this could take 2 days. So I can go ahead and do that. You can also assign the task to someone. So for example, I could say I can assign this to myself. And I can assign this task to Jason and also Bell. Right? So you can assign more than one person to a task if you want to. Now, next is statuses. So statuses are basically customizable per task. So for example, for purchasing and receiving, we can say it's ready to order. For screen printing, awaiting screen burn. For embroidery, awaiting file digitization. Whether for picking and packing, whether it's ready to pick or not. So in this case, since we're not ready, we're going to leave it blank. All of the statuses are fully customizable. So you can go ahead and say, hey, we don't run our business this way. We can remove everything and then fill it up with the way you would like to do it. Next is mockups or artwork file. So mockup or artwork file is files that you want to share with your customer and your team. So for example, I would like to share with my customer the mockup files that I've prepared ahead of time. So here are the mockups that I've prepared. So upload it. And once uploaded, you can actually select the location. So for example, I could say that's for the sleeve, that's for the back, and that's for the front. These are additional information for you for your team and your customer. Now you can always leave it blank. You can also select multiple. So you have full freedom on what you want to do there. Next is production files. So production files, same as the mockup files, except production files are not shared with your customer. So for example, this is where you'd upload, your EMB file, your DST file. Any file that you don't want your customers to have access to it goes here. For the file upload, we have right now, you can upload as many files as you need, up to 100 megabytes per file. For mockups, we only accept image file formats, so JPEG, PNG, GIF, and TIFF. JPEG, PNG recommended. For production file, we'll take any file format. Next is production notes. So for production notes, these are notes that you want to share with your team. So for example, we want to remind our team that this is a very important order and we want to be extra careful. So I could put a reminder like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make it a little bit bigger. You're going to color code it. So that way it's immediately obvious that this is an important note. We're going to save that, and that gets saved with the job. So I'm going to go ahead and save and close. So that will basically create the job and add it here. Now, once the job has been added, you can add the line item. So we integrate with Sanmar, Alpha Broader, SNS Activewear. We also have a few other catalogs that we support, so please check our website for more information. But yeah, to add a product, you just click on plus product and search for the product. Now, for Sanmar, Alpha Broader, SNS Activewear, we download their catalog every day. We keep it up to date for you. So, for example, I'm going to use Bella Canvas 3001 for this example. The BC 3001, and I'm going to pick it from Sanmar. So we'll let you know where we're pulling this item from. Then you'll be prompted to select a color. I'm going to go ahead and select aqua. And once selected, a couple of things going to happen. First, we're going to make an API call to Sanmar and then ask for their latest pricing. So in this case, you can see piece, dozen, and case price. So those are the price that we download daily for you. So you could use that to charge your customer. Now, once you search for the product, we're going to make an API call to see if there's any kind of sales going on and if you're and your account rates right now. So if you were to buy this product with Sanmar right now, you'll be paying $389. We typically recommend sticking to piece, dozen, and case price, so that way you're not losing out if the sales ended right before your customer paid, right? Next is that we're also going to pull their warehouse availability. So what this means is that we're going to see how many products they have in each of their warehouse. And this information is live, so we fetch it on demand. And it's not cached in our system. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding a product. So for example, let's say I want to add a product. Let's say I need 300 extra small. So when I do that, you can see we're automatically filtering out warehouses that cannot meet this order. So your only option here is to order from New Jersey, Florida, and Minnesota. So, but for this order, I'm going to stick to just 3 extra small, 3 medium, 3 large, 3 XL, and 3 2XL. As you can see, the software already accounts for the fact that 2XL going to be more expensive, and it will select the correct pricing for you. So we're going to go ahead and just add and close. So what that will do is add the line items to the order. Now, once added, you can see the price breakdown. So this is how we calculate the pricing. So the product cost comes from Sanmar, what we saw earlier. So that was $480. I have configured my markup to be 100%. So that brings the product price to $960. And the print price was $3.80. So that was for 2 print printing plus embroidery. That comes out to $380 with the total being $1340. At any given time, you have the full freedom to override this. So for example, let's say you like to round this up to the nearest dollar. So I could say this is going to be $10 and that is going to be $4. Apply, and then the price will be overridden. And when you do override it, we'll put a note saying that the price was manually overridden. So you know that you've manually changed the pricing. So that's all that's needed to basically create a quote, send it to your customer. We're going to go ahead and just publish it right now. Publish. There we go. Once published, you are ready to send this quote to your customer. So first off, you can start by creating an order approval. The way order approval works is simple. I can create an approval request. I can do email now, and that's going to send an email to the customer asking them to approve the order. You could also do artwork approval. So in this case, I've already uploaded the artwork earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and just say request artwork approval and any notes that you want to share with your customer. And if you say email now, and that's going to email to your customer asking them to approve the artwork as well. This is how the email will look like. So we're going to white label that email. So it's going to be coming from it's going to have your logo, your branding on it, your business address, as well as your business name here. You can even customize the sending domain, so you can use your own domain name if needed. So once the customer sees it, they can click on review approval, and that's going to take them to the customer portal for you. So once in the customer portal will automatically pull up the artwork approval, so they can go ahead and approve it right away. So for example, they can say, yes, the design looks good, or they can just say, hey, can we make some changes to the design, right? So for example, I can say, can you please move this a little higher, right? Request change on that. Next, we can say, hey, now that's fantastic, great, all looks good. And this would be your terms and condition. Here's where you should let your customers know that if they approve it, you're going to move forward to the production, or any terms that you need to put here goes into here, and the customer will type in their name, and that will constitute a signature. So we're going to go ahead and just change one artwork. And then we're going to just say review. So in this case, we had a code approval as well. So they can do that review as well. So we're going to just close this. So they can also take a look at this code information. And if everything looks good to them, they can approve the code as well. Same as before, terms and conditions, and then signature. So once approved, you will receive an email from us. This is how the email will look like. Or if you're in the app, so I'm going to go to the dashboard here. If you're in the app, you'll get a notification. And over here, you can see that artwork request has been requested. Click on it, and then that will take you straight to the quote. And over here, you can see the approval status. Double click on it, and we will pull up the artwork approval request. In this case, this needs to be moved a little higher. Got it. Right. So that's how the approval process works. So the next, we would like to send this to the customer and take payments online. So we support Stripe, Square, PayPal, Authorized.net. So these are the 4 payment processes that we support. You'll just create an account with them and add it to our system, and then you'll be able to start taking payments online. But before you can take a payment, you need to create an invoice. You can do plus invoice, which would create the invoice, and you'll have to manage it manually. If your business has very strict invoicing requirement, that's the way you want to go. Or if it doesn't matter to you, you can use our auto invoice feature. So auto invoice is nice. What it's going to do is that we're going to try our best to automatically manage the invoice for you. So for example, I can say, yes, I like to automatically manage. Next is that, let's say if you have a shipping, you added a shipping cost. Do you want to invoice that? Now, depending on how you do your business, the shipping cost might be already priced into the price. So the shipping cost is purely there for you to track how much you spend on shipping. Or you could say, we're going to add the shipping cost later, but we're going to mark it up a little bit. So I'm going to say I'm going to mark it up at 20%. So on, or you can just say, don't add it. So there's a bunch of options here. So we're going to save it. And once saved, what we'll do is we'll generate a new invoice for this order and give you an opportunity to update anything. So we'll try and guess the issue date, where it should be billed to, where it's shipped to, and also the tax. Now, in this case, the customer's tax exempt, so we'll select the tax. But let's say, for this particular order, it's not tax exempt. You can just say, I'm going to select the King County sales tax that I've configured earlier. That's going to be 10%, and shipping is not taxable. Let's just say that. Or if you want shipping to be taxable, you can mark it as taxable. And the rest of it will be automatically managed for you. Now, you can also choose to say certain items are taxable or not. And if you need to, you can add a discount and additional shipping fees that you want to charge. So we're going to go ahead and close this. Now that we've created the invoice, you can go ahead and send a payment request to the customer. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to show you how that looks like. There you go. So this right here is the payment request. So the customer will get a branded email. They'll click on Pay Now, and that's going to take them to the customer portal. When they click on it, will automatically pull up the payment dialog right here. If there's a deposit, it will show you the deposit. So early on, I did not configure a deposit. Let's go ahead and quickly do that. So we're going to say 70% deposit required. So then over here, if they have a deposit, they can pay the deposit. They can pay the full amount. They can split across multiple cards if they want to. So let's just say they're going to pay deposit, pay now, and then they'll enter their credit card, make payments right away. Now, you don't have to send them in piecemeal fashion. So you could create a quote request, artwork approval, and payment request all at one go. So depending on how you do your business, you can decide what would be the right approach. Back in the customer portal, they can also see the order information here, the job status, the artwork, and also messages. Messages will be emails sent and received So they'll be able to respond to your email from here. They can also reply to you from their email directly. And when they do, we'll capture it and update the software for you. They also have access to dashboard. So dashboard would be their entire order history. So here's how much credit they have with you, how much deposit due, amount due, amount overdue, and all of their order history. Right? So everything they've ordered with you. And if they need a copy of an invoice, they can always download it themselves. They also have a list of all the invoices here and shipments. And if you're using our Shippo integration, there will also be live package tracking as well. Finally, the customer portal is also mobile friendly. So if they open it on their phone, it's still going to look great. And more importantly, they'll be able to make payments online as well. So we're going to go to invoices right here, click on it, and then they'll be able to pay online. So that's an overview of how our customer portal works. Now, back to the sales order. Once the quote has been paid for and approved, whatever your process is, you'd want to convert it to a sales order. In YoPrint, quote and sales order are pretty much the same thing. The only difference is that quote is not ready for production, sales order is, and you can always convert a sales order to a quote to a sales order, vice versa. So I'm going to convert this to a sales order. So once a quote has been converted to a sales order, you can start the production side of things. So for production, we're going to start with documents. So I'm going to start by showing a few that might be interesting. So we're going to start by looking at job related documents. So we're going to start with the job details PDF. So this is simple. It's going to have all the job information. So this would be your job worksheet essentially. So it's going to have the job name, the logo, the notes, the location, what needs to be done on each location, the line items, including the sizes, and the markups as well. So we can print all of that in a nice document for you. And then basically the idea here is that you can print it, give it to your staff, and they can do their work. And once they're done with the work, they can go ahead and update our system. To do that, all they need to do is scan the QR code. Works with any QR code scanner that you can buy. If you have a tablet, we also have a built-in QR code scanner. All you need to do is click on the camera icon, and that's going to intelligently select the back camera to do the QR code scanning. Now, when scanned, we're going to take you straight to YoPrint, straight to the job, and then you'll be able to update the job from here. So, for example, I could change the status to waiting for stock. I could look at the services, the tasks, the markups, production file, notes, comments, line items, and I can also send a message to the customer saying that, hey, it's ready for pickup, come and pick it up. Or we could send them a text message to the same effect. Next is a job box label. So this is a 4-inch by 6-inch label. The idea here is simple. You can prepare a box for each job. When the blanks arrive, you can put it in the box. When you're ready to work on it, you can scan the QR code and then download the files, do your work. When you're done, you go straight back into the box. And when you ship it out, you can scan it, ship it out. Or if the customer's picking it up, scan it, mark it as picked up. The box label also has the due dates on the box, so it's very easy to know when you need to start working on it. Next is 2-inch by 1-inch label. Originally, we created this for screens. So if you're a screen printer, you can label your screens, or you can label anything that you desire. Next, we're going to look into packing slips. Now, in order to create a packing slip, first you need to have a shipment. So I'm going to add a shipment. We're going to be using Shippo. It's going to be received by myself, and then it's not a white label shipping. And then the contact person is myself. I'm going to auto pack it. The auto pack basically puts any remaining items into the shipment for you. Save and close. That will create a shipment. Once the shipment is created, you're able to look at the packing slip. So the packing slip is nothing crazy, It's just what's in the box, print it, put it in the box, give it to your customer. Just a little bit of a professional touch at the end. Since we're already talking about shipments, we also like to talk to you how our Shippo integration works. To create a shipment is simple. You're going to go here, click on Create Label, and then we're going to select the box sizes. So we're going to just do this a small box. We're going to just say it's going to be a pound. Add a package, get rates. This will run the rates for you. So it's going to fetch it using your Shippo account. And the cheapest is through USPS. But for this demo, I'm going to be using UPS Ground Saver. Purchase the label. And then once purchased, you can actually print the label from the system. So right here, you can print it out. And you can also get live package tracking in the system. So, we've created the label, we're waiting to pick up. And this information is also available in the customer portal. So we're going to go ahead and look at that right now. Right here, shipment, I can see right here. So now, if you've created the label in error, you can always just delete it. And when you delete it, we'll try and refund it from Shippo for you if it's allowed. So next is production management. So for production, we go to all jobs, production all jobs. So this is going to show you all the jobs in the system. So the idea here is simple. Here's everything you need to work on. You can customize the column so you can move it around. You could also pin a column, unpin a column, and when you're done, you'll just hit save. And what that will do is save it for your account. So the next time you log in, this is the view that you're going to see. And everybody in your team can have different views depending on their work preference. If you want to take a closer look at the job, so double click on it. It's going to pull up the job information, the services, the tasks, mockups, production file, notes, comments, line items, messaging. So everything that we've shown you so far is available in this dialog. So you can do your entire work from here if that's what you want to do. You can also create what we call a filter. So the idea behind filter is simple. You can narrow the list down based on criteria so you can see a portion of the list instead of everything. For example, let's say I want to create a new filter. I can just kind of call it rush. So basically, I want to see every job that is not completed. So we're going to say status type is either pending or in progress. And then I want to see everything that's also happens to be a rush job, right? So we're going to say is rush is true. And then when you do this, we're going to run the query for you so you can take a look at it. The query looks correct here. You can hit say create. And once you hit create, it's going to save into your account. So for example, I've already created it. If I go here, click on it, and this is going to show you all the rush jobs. Any filters that you create is available to your entire team. So it's a good way for them to work on what needs to be done. Now, we also have a calendar view. When you click on view calendar, we'll put everything in a calendar for you. Now, if you want to see more information, just double click on it and then see it. You can make changes, change the status, and the color on the calendar will match. And you can drag and drop to schedule it as well. And we have weekly view, monthly view, and a day view. Next is tasks. Now, earlier we created a bunch of tasks. So if you go to production, all tasks, this is going to show you all the tasks in the system. Same as jobs, you're going to double click on it to pull out the job information. So you'll download the files, do your work, and then mark it as completed, and then move on. You also get a calendar view here as well. So you can see all the calendar view. It's more or less the same as the jobs. In tasks, we also have a special filter called Assign to Me. So the idea here is simple. Anyone who's logged in can click on Assign to Me and see everything that they need to do. It's a very quick, easy way to see, like, here's what I need to do. Here's my personal calendar. And then I can work through it as I see fit. So let's look at today. Here's everything that I need to do today. So we're going to work on that. So you can also create purchase orders in the system. Typically, you'd want to batch a bunch of orders to create one purchase order. So in this case, I already had a task called purchase goods. So I'm going to see what are all those tasks that has purchase goods on it. And I'm going to go ahead and select a few of them. And then we're going to go ahead and just say create purchase order for orders. And that's going to copy everything over for you. As of right now, we don't have the ability to place the order directly with Sandmar or Alphabet or anything like that. However, what we can do is group them all in a single list so you can then place the order outside of our system. So for example, let's say these are the items that I need, and we're just going to say I am planning to buy this from Sandmar. Let's just say that's a vendor that I've put a mark on, so we're going to buy it from Sandmar. But before I buy, I would also like to check to make sure they're in stock. So everything looks good to me. They're all in stock except for this one item. So then I'll have to take extra actions for that. So we're going to ignore that and we're going to just go ahead and create it. So that basically creates the purchase order. So once the purchase order is created, you'll open a new tab, place the order directly with Sandmar Alpha. And then once you're done, you can go ahead and update your product tracking number, anything here. You can also email this to your vendor if they accept email POs. So you can go ahead and just send an email, and that's going to send an email to the vendor for you. Once sent, this is what they're going to see right here. This is what they're going to see. They can click on view purchase order, and then they'll have their own view where they can see all the line items that they need to send it to you. Now, once the items arrive, you can start the receiving process. So YoPrint supports partial receiving as well. So for example, let's say you've ordered everything, but you are still waiting on the tell text. So I can just say I'm still waiting on the tell text. I could also say that, or size S only received 2. I've received 1. So the rest arrived fine, right? I can go ahead and receive the rest first here. So then you know that you've received these items, you're still waiting on it. So it's very easy to know what's stalling your progress. And when everything arrives, you'll just go ahead and just receive selected, mark everything as received, right? So very, very straightforward. You can also click on the linked sales order. So when you do, that's going to take you to the sales order. And then you'll be able to see at the sidebar the purchase order that's associated with it. Right here, if I double click on it, it pulls it up. This is the purchase order that we just created, and everything is received, and we're good to go. I did forget to mention earlier, once everything is received, it's going to mark the PO as completed. All right. So that's our purchasing and receiving part of the demo. Next, let's look at inventory management. Now, YoPrint provides a full feature inventory management. So all the inventory will be under stock control inventory. So here you'll be able to see all the items in the inventory. Let me walk you through what each of these columns mean. Incoming means that you have created a purchase order you're waiting to receive. So when you create a purchase order, we'll mark it automatically as incoming. And when you receive it, what we'll do is we'll reduce the count and increase the on-hand count, right? Committed means that you have open sales order. You haven't allocated inventory for. When you allocate inventory, we'll reduce the committed count and reduce the on-hand count. So essentially, we're pulling from your inventory for you. Available will be the difference between on-hand and committed. So in this case, we have 124 items on hand. We've committed 175. Therefore, we are short by 51. So we need to have 51 more items before we can fulfill all that we've committed to. Now, reorder would be whatever we have available deducted with whatever is incoming. So in this case, we're short by 51 and we're expecting 277. So in this case, we don't have to reorder everything. Counter to this point, so let's look at this line right here. So you'll be able to see we need 18 more and we have 7 incoming. So we'll need to order 11 more. If you double click on it, what we'll do is we'll open it up and then you'll be able to see all the sales order that has the committed count greater than 0. And over here, purchase orders that are related to the inventory item. So you'll be able to cross-check them. You also have the option to sort by reorder amount here. Select the items and then go ahead and create a purchase order from here. So that way you can do a bulk order based on what's short on your inventory. We also have the sidebar with everything else, and adding an item to inventory is pretty straightforward. While our inventory system works automatically, we also have manual controls for it. For example, let's say you want to do, at the end of the month, you're going to do a stock take. You're going to walk through your aisle, do enter the new count. So you can do that with YoPrint. And finally, let's talk about reports. So reports are pretty straightforward. So what you'll do is you'll select your date range. So for example, I want to see everything that happened last month. And then I'm going to hit apply and we're going to run the query for you, pull the data for you, and then we're going to do a little bit of number crunching, a little bit of formatting. But ultimately, what you like to do is export it as an Excel file, open it in Excel, and then do number crunching there. So that's everything that YoPrint has to offer. Now, with this as a high-level overview of everything, we're going to be making more videos to cover in-depth how each component works. Thank you for watching, and if you have any question, feel free to email us at support@yoprint.com. You can also schedule a more personalized demo so you and your team can experience a tailored demo on our website.